on? This is G-Funk, and it's time to break down the fight that we've all been waiting for. It's finally here. Floyd Money Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Saturday, May 2nd, Las Vegas, MGM Grand. Let's do this. Alright, so everybody, I'm sure that there's going to be some newcomers to my video because, this is a big fight. There's going to be a lot of casual fans will be watching, as long as a hardcore. So, if you're new to this YouTube, boxing community, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button, you know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, hit the other button, it don't matter. But I'm going to go ahead and do my best to, break this thing down and give you my honest prediction here. G-Funk is not a fan of either one of these fighters. Never have been. I've been watching them both for a real long time now before they both got popular. I watched them grow through the sport and watched the hype build up on both sides. And, I can honestly say that I think I can make a good, honest, and fair prediction here for you guys. So I'm going to do my best to do that. This is a big fight, guys. This is a huge fight. I'm thinking at least 3 million buys, easy. These guys are going to be making a ridiculous amount of money, both of them. After the fight's over with the live gate and pay-per-views and, merchandise, what have you, it's going to be insane. I'm even hearing that the pay-per-views are going to be close to $100 in HD. I even seen some things recently where they're talking about you got to pay to see the weigh-in, which is absolutely crazy to me, but, hey, it is what it is. So, let's go ahead and break this thing down. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is some fans that I know, mostly people that I work with, and, they're mostly casual fans, but one thing that they're always saying is that these fighters are old, and they look like this. And, as far as age goes, yeah, they're at the, older side as far as the number goes, but as far as how they've looked in recent fights, they don't come off as two old guys. Floyd to me still looks real sharp, real fast. He's still got good legs. He's kind of his amount of punches that he throws in fights has definitely gone down over the years, but he's a defensive wizard, man. He's one of the best that I've ever seen as far as defense goes. And Manny Pacquiao, he's still fast. Still throws a lot of punches. He's a volume puncher. He's got a real fast feet. He's still the same Pacquiao that I know. It's just neither one of these guys have gotten a knockout in years, but I think that they're still pretty good. Floyd has he's always facing younger guys and winning. Pacquiao as well. He's beaten Tim Bradley, Chris Algieri, Brandon Rios. These are all younger guys compared to him. Same thing with Floyd Mayweather. He beat Marcos El Chino Maidana twice, Saul Canelo Alvarez, and Robert Guerrero. These are all young guys. So, as far as them being, out of their prime, I guess, technically yes, as far as age goes, but I think they still look, physically good to me. And I still think it's going to be a pretty entertaining fight. All right, guys. So let's go into the the records, tail of the tape, whatever you want to call it, for most of the casual fans. The hardcores know records and things like that. So I'm just going over real quick. We got WBO welterweight champion Manny Pacquiao. He's 36 years old, 5'6.5", 67-inch reach, 57 wins, 38 by knockout, 2 draws, and 5 losses. 3 times he's been stopped. We know a couple of those stoppages were early in his career when he was young. And then, of course, we all know that devastating knockout at the hands of Juan Manuel Marquez. that was a one hell of one hell of a knockout, you know. And then we got WBA and WBC welterweight champion Floyd Money Mayweather, age 38, 5'8", 72-inch reach, so he's got a good, comfortable reach in my opinion. 47 wins, 26 by KO, no losses and no draws. There's a few that some people like to point to that there's a couple of disputed wins in his resume. As far as I'm concerned, the only time I really seen him beat was way back 2002 with Jose Luis Castillo. I thought he beat him the first time. Mayweather came back the second time and beat him pretty convincingly to me. And there's a lot of people say that Maidana beat him the first time. I thought the fight was closer than the fight was a lot closer than I expected, but I don't think that Maidana won the fight. But anyway, as far as stance goes, we got Mayweather's an orthodox fighter. For those of you who don't know that means that Floyd's lead hand, his jab hand, is the left, and the power hand is the right. And Pacquiao is a southpaw, which is the opposite way. His jab hand is the right hand, and the power comes from the left. Just in case you didn't know that. So here's an old wise tale, I guess, for a lot of fans, is that Mayweather doesn't do well with southpaws. Now, I think we can say that. I think it all really depends on what kind of southpaw he's fighting. Not all southpaws have given him trouble. He has fought a lot of southpaws, and he's got a lot of wins, obviously, against southpaws. But the one that really sticks out to me, well, there's a couple that stick out to me. We can go all the way back to when he fought DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley. Chop Chop Corley, caught him with a big, I think it was a right hand he caught him with when they fought, and hurt Floyd Mayweather pretty badly in the fourth round. But Mayweather recovered well, and he ended up dominating that fight. Then another one that comes to mind is Zab Judah. Now, Zab was coming off a loss. He didn't look good against Carlos Baldemir, but Judah had the stance, he had the speed to really give Floyd some trouble early in the fight. The first half of that fight was, damn good. It was competitive. There was even a knockdown that the referee didn't catch. Floyd was lunging in, and I believe Judah hit him with a short little right hook and knocked Mayweather off balance, and the glove tapped the canvas. Now, by rule, that is a knockdown. If you get hit with a punch and anything but the bottom of your feet are touching the canvas, like, if an elbow hits the canvas or the glove or the knee, that's supposed to be considered a knockdown by rule. The referee didn't see it, but, it was a knockdown. He didn't see it. And Judah also had him hurt with a good, big, straight left hand in that fight. And, that's a hell of a fight, man. I suggest anybody that's listening that hasn't seen that fight, go back and watch that fight, man. Both of these guys, like I said, they both had tremendous speed, good boxing ability. They both made some, real good adjustments to each other's styles. The counter punching was amazing in that fight. And, at the end of the day, Mayweather figured out Judah. Plus, we know Judah is, he always has been a, 4-round fighter. Like some people say 4 rounds. I think maybe he starts to fade after the 6th round, but, Floyd got the job done against those two southpaws. One guy of conventional or orthodox stance that had him in trouble was Shane Mosley with a couple big right hands in the second round of their fight. But give Floyd some credit, man, because Mosley is no, he's no powder puff puncher. That guy can crack, man, and he took a couple of good solid shots on the chin from Shane Mosley. He was out on his feet, but he recovered well. Now, as far as Pacquiao goes, we seen that guys who like to box and make him think and like to counterpunch have given him trouble in the past. If you go this far back, I don't know if some of you fans go this far back with Pacquiao, but his first real big fight was when he fought Erik Morales. And the first time that they fought, Morales really, put on a clinic. As far as I'm concerned, thought he won it pretty convincingly. Had Pacquiao in some trouble, but he kept a good jab in his face, and he fought on the back foot. Now I know most people say, well, he came back and beat him the second time. Well, there's a lot more than just Pacquiao coming back and beating him. Morales was extremely weight drained that fight. Before he had that second fight with Pacquiao, he fought a guy named, I believe his name was Zaire Rahim, who literally embarrassed Morales, won every round. Morales was done at that weight. And even if you go back and watch that second fight, Morales was still doing his thing early in the fight until he ran out of gas, But, we all know the story. He ended up stopping Morales, and then, the legend of Pacquiao grew from there. But even before Erik Morales, because that was an official loss. But before Morales was 2004 when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez for the first time. And, Marquez was looking at first like he didn't even belong in the ring with Pacquiao. He went down 3 times, but, to his credit, he got up. And, he really gave Pacquiao some trouble in that fight. And throughout all of their fights, all 4 of them, he's given Pacquiao the most trouble out of anybody. He really adapted well to Pacquiao's style, and Pacquiao, he just could not get away from those right hands. And for those of you that don't know, again, for the casuals, the right hand is the best punch to throw against the southpaw. And Marquez, his right hand is not only is it really, really good, but that thing comes with a lot of power, man. And he demonstrated that in every single fight. He didn't get a knockdown until they fought the 4th time, but in every single fight, he hurt Pacquiao with big right hands. All you gotta do is go back and watch the fights. He landed several big right hands in each and every one of those fights, including that, like I said, that vicious knockout a couple of years ago via another straight right hand. So, but again, Pacquiao has been in there with guys who have, good power in their right hands and has beaten them. Guys like, Shane Mosley. If you want to say Margarito, who had power in both hands, So, I mean, he's been in there with guys that have good right hands, and he's beaten them. So, to say, he can't get around guys who like to counterpunch with that straight right hand or whatever, and that is Mayweather's best punch, So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to base my prediction off of, those little things there, but I do think that they can make some imprints on the fight, Mayweather's straight right hand, Pacquiao's straight left hand, and the counterpunching of Floyd Mayweather against the volume of Pacquiao, These guys are going to be in there. This is honestly, looking up and down their resume, I don't think Floyd's been in the ring with a southpaw with this kind of speed and this kind of volume, And as far as Pacquiao goes, he hasn't been in there with someone this fast, with this kind of counterpunching. I mean, we could say Marquez, but I think Mayweather is a much better counterpuncher because his defense. He counterpunches off his defense more than anything. Marquez likes to exchange more. But this is going to be, like I said, the quickest and the most accurate right hand that Pacquiao has been in the ring with. So, he's got some work to do. Floyd, as well. He's going to, one thing I have to say for Pacquiao's sake, right, is he's going to have to come in, and this is what I believe. I believe he's going to have to throw at least 100 punches around or something close to that. He's got to force exchanges with Floyd Mayweather, because if he just allows Mayweather to pick his spots, he's gonna pick him apart, man. And this is another hard thing to do in the ring with anybody. Is you can't get predictable in there against Floyd. He's eventually gonna figure that out. I think Pacquiao should try to mix in a little bit of boxing, like when he fought Brandon Rios. He didn't just go all out against Brandon Rios, because Rios was coming forward and he was trying to be the bigger man, which he was the bigger man that night. But Pacquiao said it himself in the 24/7 with Bradley in their rematch that he even joked about it, that he was running from Rios. But I think he should try to use some movements in and out, maybe get around Floyd if he can, but it's going to be difficult, man, because Pacquiao is not, he's not that type of fighter. And I mentioned earlier about his footwork. He does have fast feet, so I would like to see him get in and out, not just rush straight in all the time. And definitely try to set up, if he's been working on this. I know he's thrown this punch a lot against Algeria. I noticed was a good right hook over the top of the jab, and that's something that Zab Judah landed a lot against Floyd Mayweather. Although Floyd did make an adjustment to that, but he was landing it early, So I like to see Pacquiao in and out, try to mix in some of that aggressive volume punching with a little bit of boxing. Try his best to throw those right hooks over the top of Floyd's jab, because Floyd is going to be looking to take away that left. That's what he does in the ring. He takes away his opponent's best weapon. So I think that mixing it up and not being so predictable could help Pacquiao. You don't, like I said, you don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again, because he's going to adjust to it. Now, as far as Floyd goes, we know that his defense is great, good counterpuncher, good speed. He can take a good shot. One thing that I think could give him trouble is, again, the speed of Pacquiao. It's been a while. It's been a real good while since he's been in there with someone with some real good speed, or at least speed that's close to his. I think speed is pretty close as far as both fighters go. But, I was looking at his resume, and, I don't see a lot of speedsters in there. Really, the last true speed guy, you could say it was Zab Judah. Shea Mosley at the time, he was, getting up there in age. And he really wasn't as fast as he was previous to that fight. De La Hoya had decent speed at, 154, but not like when he was at welterweight. So, it's been a good while since Floyd's been in there with someone with some speed. So I think that could, give him a little bit of trouble, adjusting to that right away. It might take him a little bit if he does adjust to the speed. Also, he can't just play defense all night, especially if Pacquiao is going to come out and throw, 100 punches at him in the round. He can't sit back and just try to, roll shots like he does a lot of times in his previous fights. I think he's going to have to fire a lot more back than usual, because we know how judges are, man. Judges don't respect boxing anymore, or defense. They just completely throw that aside now. If someone's throwing punches at you and you're not throwing them back, they're going to give the round to Pacquiao. That's just what I see. So I think he's going to have to mix it up, but then that will also create opportunities for Pacquiao to land punches. So, I would like to see him not lay back so much and try to play defense and try to roll and things like that. I would like to see him more with a high guard, the little peekaboo stance, I guess some people call it. The shoulder roll, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as my opinion goes, the shoulder roll is not as effective against the southpaw as an orthodox fighter. So, like I said, I would like to see him, keep the high guard and throw plenty of lead right hands, which is something that Pacquiao has trouble with. Again, we go back to Marquez. After the first fight, he got hit with so many right hands that the second time that they fought, that was all they talked about. And Freire was like, we're going to make adjustments. Even going into the third fight, we've already made the adjustments. We know how to nullify the right hand, but over and over again he lands it, and it ended in a knockout the last time they fought. So I would like to see a good steady diet for Pacquiao of right hands from Mayweather. Also countering his that right jab, because Pacquiao's jab is not the best. He really kind of just flicks it at times and then trying to set up that left hand. So I would like to see him throw either his jab over the top or a left hook over the top. And like I said, just be a little more active, but not as, don't give Pacquiao as many opportunities. I see a lot of smothering from Mayweather in this fight. When Pacquiao decides to come in and be aggressive. One thing that Pacquiao does like to do is, he does have some technical flaws. One that really sticks out to me is his lunging at times. He lunges in a lot and leaves himself open for counter punches. That's something that is, he's going to pay dearly for that if he does that in this fight. Also, he's very, very impatient to me, and that's another thing that Marquez did, was test his patience. Marquez threw a lot of feints to the body and up top, and Pacquiao, you can see him getting impatient. He starts, banging his gloves together, like, come on, let's fight. If he wants to fight, he's gonna have to make it in this one. He just has to. He can't just wait around. So, all right. So here's how it's gonna come down. This is what it comes down to for me. Is, can Pacquiao keep it at mid-range where he's best at? Land his left, throw that volume to when the judge is over, and can Floyd Mayweather stay out of exchanges, and can he make Pacquiao miss enough and counter him with enough clean counter punches to win rounds from the judges? We know that Mayweather, if he chooses to get on the bike, he can, completely avoid a fight for 12 rounds. But I don't think that's going to win him this fight. He's going to have to, he can't, like I said earlier, he can't just roll shots and think he's going to win the round. He's going to have to land a lot of leather on Pacquiao to win the fight. And, here's my prediction, man. When I look at these two fighters, to me, in my honest opinion, now, like I said, I'm not a fan of either one of these guys, but in my honest opinion, when I look at skills versus skills from both fighters, I see a total mismatch as far as that goes, and the edge goes to Mayweather. He's much more technically sound. His punches, he punches much more. He lands a lot of clean shots. You can see him. Everybody in the arena sees him when he lands them. As far as movement in the ring goes, he's just really, it's not even close in my opinion. But as far as Pacquiao goes, he can bring that toughness, that grit, that heart, that determination to win. And that's something that you can't always rule out in fights. I've been watching boxing for a long time, over 20 years now. And I've seen, mismatches on paper where it looks like, man, this guy should win the fight easy, because he's more skilled against the guy who's, a little more tough and, gritty and stuff like that. And then the fight happens and the guy who's, the tough guy, the guy who's, like Pacquiao in this situation, ends up winning the fight. It's just, you can't rule those things out, when it comes to boxing. Like Larry Merchant said, and I don't like Larry Merchant either, but I do agree with what he said when he said that boxing is the theater of the unknown. You just don't know. One punch could end the fight, or it could, not only could it end the fight, but it could just change the fight. You could get hurt, and your whole game plan goes out the window. So, like I said, on paper, it looks like a mismatch to me. I've always thought that Floyd Mayweather would win the fight. I would always thought that in my mind, that if the fight ever happened, he would definitely win. Now, as far as my prediction goes, I'm going to pick Manny Pacquiao to win. by decision. But now I'm not double predicting. That is my official prediction. But I think that it's gonna look like Mayweather wins the fight. And what I mean by that is, amongst the masses of people who watch the fight, boxing fans, writers, I think a majority of them are going to think that Floyd won the fight. It's just going to look like that to them. But I just have a feeling that judges are going to reward Pacquiao for, they're going to give him that effective aggression. They're going to be, saying that he landed the harder shots, threw more punches, he came forward all night. That's just what I see. That's what I think I'm going to be hearing after the fight. Then they're going to be the argument of, well, Mayweather boxed better, he showed better defense, he landed the cleaner shots. So that's what I see, man. I think that it's going to look like Floyd won the fight, but Pacquiao is going to get the decision, man. That's just the way I see it, Call me a conspiracy guy if you want, but that's just what I see, man. So, I think we're gonna see Pacquiao win this one. He's gonna get the decision, and we're gonna see it again in September. And then they're gonna do it even bigger. So that's what I see, guys. So, I know this is a pretty long prediction, but this has been a long time waiting for this fight. So I had to get this off my chest. And like I said earlier, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment. Do whatever it is you got to do. But this is G Funk, and I'm getting ready to cut this video, and I'm out.